Oh, nice.
All right, we're live. And our sunglasses are now off. Hey everybody, this is Around Cranberry Township. I am your host, Dr.Bulow with Revive Upper Cervical, and today we are hanging out at Generoasta Coffee here in Warrendale with Kathy from Veg Inspired and Heather from Generosta. So Kathy and I were scheduled to come and chat. If you guys don't know Kathy from Veg Inspired on all your social media platforms, and she's not being rude, she's sharing it to her community right now. But if you haven't connected with her at Veg Inspired, her photos, I don't know if you've seen it, Heather, but Kathy's photos on Instagram are just like mouth-watering, and they're all plant-based, nutritious, healthy things. And I'm like, I see your pictures around the forums, and I'm like, I have got to meet this gal. We've got to get together. And so that's how we got Kathy here. And then when we were planning this, I called Generosa to be like, do you guys have outdoor seating? Because it's going to be we're going to set up a camera and all that. So we kind of convinced Heather to sit down. Now, we have limited time with Heather, but we wanted to at least grab her to introduce you guys to Generosa if you haven't been. Right here in Warrendale, right off of, what's the connection road here? How would you describe where you guys are located?
This is the red belt here.
So it's in the red belt.
Right off of the exit, the Warrendale exit. And it's right next to Off the Hook in El Pizzol.
Some pretty fantastic places to be, right?
Correct, correct.
So so just tell us a little bit about Generosa. First of all, where did the name come from? So I like the name. I think I know where it came from, but I'm just kind of curious.
It means to be generous. So we have 3 local charities that we support each year, and we pick 3 new charities. So we've done Animal Friends and just a variety of different charities. So we support 3 local charities.
So who are the charities for this year?
Great.
Putting you on the spot.
We have, I don't know the exact names, but we have one that disabled children
Nice.
that can go ride horses for free.
Oh,
they don't have to. They don't have to.
Awesome.
Yeah. And kids with Down syndrome and different disabilities. That was my favorite one because I love horses. Then we also do another one that is for tickets for teens, students that can't afford to go to musical theaters and things like that. You can purchase tickets for them.
That's great.
That's great.
And I'm trying to think of the last one. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Well, Kathy was even saying when we were ordering our drinks here that it's a really neat way. How do people donate? It's something with the coins or something.
We have tokens, and basically what you do is you're basically casting your vote. And so each time that you purchase whatever, a coffee, tea, or food or whatever, you get a token, and you can place it in one of the big, large cups at the end of the counter where the charity wall is.
Yeah.
And you are casting your vote, and then we tally all of those chips at the end of the week, and then we get a percentage. And so at the end of the year, we take proceeds and we divide the proceeds. And if one of the charities, it always seems like the animal charities do really well.
Okay.
So we will, if they get 50% of the proceeds, so they'll get 50%, and then each down the line. So it's just
wonderful.
So everybody
really
kind of
cool.
gets a vote. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
When we first opened, we did some really big events to support the charities, but that became a full-time job, and we're just not capable of doing that anymore.
Yeah.
But we do at Christmas time. We do a giving tree, and anybody can come in and just pick something off the tree and bring,
nice.
whatever it is. We've done diapers. We've done things for small children. So you can kind of decide what you want to do.
No, that's wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When and how did Generosta start?
5.5 years ago, It opened up, and it's kind of funny. One of the other, there initially were 10 owners, and it was, I think, on my back deck. I had made a pie, and one of the gentlemen that owned this plaza, he said, "You should open a bakery. Let's open a bakery." And I said, "I can't bake full time. I love to bake, but I can't do it full time." He said, "Well, what about a coffee shop?" And so I think that was kind of how it came to be. And then we got a whole slew of people that came in on it.
Sure.
And right now we have 5 owners that participate, but
It's a great location.
Here a lot.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm here a lot.
That's it. When you own your own business, man, you're in it. You're in it. So before we let you go, when you mentioned being here a lot, you kind of, it's funny how you get pulled into things. We pulled you into sitting down. Kind of got pulled into the business. One of the things I always ask business owners, and I'll ask you this too, Kathy, it'll be Kathy's heads up, she can start thinking about it. But what keeps you coming back? What do you enjoy about it? Because a lot of times it's not just the product or the service. There's a little bit of a background connection or a thing that you kind of enjoy about the process. A lot of people have that just kind of enjoyment. There's a specific thing, a specific angle that they take to their business or their industry, and I'm always just kind of curious about that kind of stuff. So what do you enjoy about it?
For me personally, it's the people.
Yeah, cool.
Truly. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not even a coffee drinker. I'm a tea drinker, so we have all kinds of tea. We have delicious coffee and lattes and cappuccinos and all of that. But I love the people. You meet so many interesting people. And
there's a lot of people here this morning too, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. So typically Thursday and Friday are our busiest days, but I just think it's fun. You get to meet all people from all walks of life. There's business people that come in and spend half their day here and set up shop and have meetings and whatnot. So that's what keeps me coming back.
Got it. And you've gotten to know them over the years like
sure.
that. That's very cool.
Yeah, we have a lot of regulars that come in,
neat.
but we have a lot of new people. We've had functions here before where people from Cranberry have come in and they're like, we didn't even know this existed.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's nice that they get to come in and see something, and then they come back because they love the atmosphere. They love, especially in the winter months when it's chilly, the fire pit. Put the fire pit on and
very nice.
And get to enjoy that. So
that's perfect.
So
that's really cool. Well, like I said, I know you got to run, but any last words that you would say to folks? The whole purpose of the Around Cranberry page is to connect people with their community. So just because there are people like that didn't even know you were there.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And
correct.
so hopefully this will introduce more folks to you. And we already talked a little bit about where you're located and kind of how you got started. But any last words you'd say to folks that maybe are new to the area or haven't heard of you guys before, or just any last words?
I would just say give it a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Come in, give it a try.
Get it a shot.
There's
espresso shot.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
We have great food, we have great drinks, and a great atmosphere.
Sure.
So, and friendly staff. I hope.
That's right. I would have to concur. I really would.
Thank you. Thanks.
But thank you for joining
us.
Thank you
for having
me. It was a real pleasure. The coffee's fantastic. I got the European cappuccino that is all foam, but it's very tasty.
Very good.
So awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. We
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it. Absolutely.
Thank you. It was
you.
wonderful to meet you.
I'll swap that. Hopefully my
All right,
voice
okay.
carried this whole time, but then I'll take this from you and we'll let you to your clients.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Heather.
you.
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty. Well, very cool. I know actually it was your suggestion that we came here today, so we have to thank Kathy for getting us introduced to Heather and Generosta here. But so now I got the same set of questions for you, Kathy. I mean,
That's
for crying out
great.
loud, like I said, your photos on Instagram, and for those of you watching on Facebook that are not familiar with Veg Inspired's Instagram, it is gorgeous. How would you? What got you started with that?
Well, honestly, we taking photos was the lowest on the priority list.
Really?
I know, it's so funny. We've evolved so much in the 4 years that Veg Inspired's been operational. We started Veg Inspired just to share our recipes. We were new to the plant-based way of eating. We were taking all of our recipes that we loved pre-plant-based and turning them into a plant-based option.
What got you into plant-based?
So about 5 years ago, my husband started doing some research after reading an article in one of the men's magazines. There were actually 2 articles, and they contradicted themselves.
Oh, interesting.
One said to do one thing, and one said to do the other, and he was just like, this doesn't add up, I need to do more research. And he found some plant-based doctors, Dr. McDougall, who authored The Starch Solution, and Dr. Greger, who runs nutritionfacts.org and authored the factual nonfiction book How Not to Die.
Gotcha.
So I highly recommend checking those out, even if it's just to add more plants to your meals. They're just really informative. I use the How Not to Die cookbook or How Not to Die book as like a resource. If somebody says, "Oh, I have this ailment," I really just want to know what natural cure can they come up with. So
very cool.
That's kind of how we started. We really started this journey on more of a eat more plants mentality.
Yeah.
So how can we take the meat out and add a vegetable in its place? Not necessarily replacing it, but how can we get that flavor and that texture? So,
interesting, yeah.
Instead of chicken wings, we use cauliflower, roasted cauliflower with buffalo sauce. Or instead of a burger, we might do a veggie burger or something as simple as a portobello mushroom grilled on the grill on a bun. For our tacos, one of our favorite recipes was just taking potatoes and cubing them up with taco seasoning and using that as the filling for tacos.
Yeah.
So you have all the same flavors, but you're eating plants instead of meat. So.
And what have you noticed has changed since you guys went to plant-based diet for yourself personally? I know we talked a little bit about, skin disorders and things like that. A lot of people don't realize are allergic reactions or inflamed guts and syndromes and things like that. So for you personally, what have you and your husband kind of found and from switching over to plant-based diet?
So my skin cleared up. I had a terrible case of adult acne, and it wasn't that really bad acne. It was more like little bumps all over my forehead. Yeah. That cleared up almost immediately.
That's awesome.
And then you just have this lighter feeling, like everything, I don't know, I guess, non-plant foods seem really heavy. Since we don't have butter, we don't eat those. We eat really comfortable foods or cozy comfort foods, but they're not laden with like heavy creams and butters. And we also omit oil, which is a little unique for plant-based eating, just for the health benefits of eliminating oil.
Interesting.
So we don't cook with oil at home. Now, you give me some French fries, I will eat them because I love them. But we don't do that typically. We cook oil free at home. So you've eliminated all that heaviness of the oil. So instead of eating the oil, we'll eat avocado for the healthy fats, or olives, or I'm trying to think of other items that have nuts and seeds.
Sure.
So we just eliminate the oil out.
Now, when you start talking about nuts and seeds and avocados and not cooking with oil, it can sound scary. People say, "Oh my gosh, I can never eat that way because I got to change a million things."
Exactly.
So how do people get started? What's an easy way or a resource that people can? By the way, your whole page, your whole thing is a resource. She has a website on social media that has recipes and all of that. But again, some people might say, I don't know if I even. It just seems scary. What would you say to folks that are in that position that might be interested in incorporating some more plant-based diet into their life?
Honestly, I said all the same things you just said. When my husband said to me, "We're going to eat more plants. We're going to stop eating meat and dairy," I was like, "No, we're not. That sounds way too scary. We're not going to do that."
That's awesome.
And it was a slow transition. I mean, we started eating this way 5 years ago, but we didn't really eliminate. And we always say it's not really eliminating; it's adding more plants.
Sure. Yeah.
But we didn't really cut it all out for like 6 months after we.
Sure.
It's all about just how can I replace this item with something else. Yeah. So how can I replace, like I said before, a burger with something else? And maybe the burger's not the first thing you replace. It wasn't the first thing I replaced. We replaced the cheese and macaroni and cheese. That was one of our first recipes.
What did you replace it with?
We made a butternut squash cheese. Now,
what?
Yeah.
I love butternut squash. How do you turn that into a cheese?
So it was like a roasted butternut squash mixed with a bunch of spices, but one of the pantry staples for somebody not eating cheese is nutritional yeast. It's an odd ingredient. It really resembles like cheese, like a Parmesan almost. It has, in my opinion, it has a really awkward smell. So if it's in the pantry, I can smell it when I walk by the pantry. If it's in the paper bag that because we buy it in bulk. Yeah. But once we put it in the mason jar, it's fine. But anyway, that's an aside. Yeah. So you just start to explore other plant options.
We switched it. I was going to say, personally, we're a Moe's family. We like going to Moe's. And shout out to Moe's. But I've been switching over, simple thing, steak or chicken over to the tofu options. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's a simple thing to get the tofu tacos as opposed to a chicken taco or a steak taco or whatnot. And it's been really tasty. And to your point, light. I think light is a good word. And even found with fasting, I know this is a little bit of a different topic, but in the same family of a healthy digestive system.
Right.
Going like 24 hours or 48 hours with nothing but water, for me, it just I felt so much lighter. And then it's almost like resetting your gauge for how you should feel, because most people are walking around just kind of. My wife and I joke about it, it's like swollen, kind of like swollen. Right. You just kind of bloated and heavy and distended, and it's hard to put a finger on it if you've never cleansed, But if you just, and it's simple. And the cool thing about this, like plant-based diet and like water fasting, is anybody can do it. It's not necessarily like it costs all that much more. You're just, You're just eating, you're making healthier choices, or in the water fast, you're just saying, you know what, I'm going to drink a ton of water today. Watch, there's a little bee around you there.
Oh.
But to your point here, it just cleans the system up, and small baby steps to replace, you know. I think it's fantastic. Tell me about your Veg Inspired brand and what you've created with it and what you're up to with that.
So the Veg Inspired brand, actually, the name, ironically, came from a Pinterest board. So when we first adopted this, I was like, we're going to need recipes,
That's
right?
right.
So it was Veg Inspired recipes on my Pinterest board. And then it slowly grew into, you know, we share recipes every week, sometimes more than once a week, on our veginspired.com. We recently started a YouTube channel to be able to show you how we cook things.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
we
really cool.
Also have a series called What We Eat Vegan in Pittsburgh on our YouTube channel, so you can check out all of the restaurants that offer vegan options. And to what you were saying about Moe's, we are so fortunate to have restaurants that have taken, you know, that next step to offer something that's plant-based. I mean, there's a ton in Cranberry.
I was going to say, not to give preferential treatment, but off the top of your head, I wanted to ask you that. Around Cranberry and the surrounding areas, what are some spots that you found that are clean eating? You know, like I know Aladdin's seems to be very clean. And you're saying, obviously, Moe's and Chipotle give people some vegetarian, vegan options, I'm guessing. But what are some others that you found that are some of your favorite spots, go-to spots?
So we, as I said before, we don't cook at home with oil. So when we go out, we give ourselves a little bit of leeway.
And for most people watching that have never done this, I'm sure there's a lot that could be included. You know what I mean? Where would be some healthy options, you know, to kind of get in?
So we give ourselves a little bit of a break. We always joke that
no judgment from the vegan community out there. She's all right.
Our junk food is usually what people eat for their healthy food.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So we're totally cool with
that. For us normies, where should we go?
So, and I apologize ahead of time if I forget any of our favorite restaurants, but we love going to Mad Max. They have some great options.
That's how we actually connected.
Easily labeled.
My wife and I love loaded tacos, you know, Taco Supreme. Her photo on her page of Mad Max's tacos, we got to go there now because we saw that. We said, oh, we got to try that. But go ahead, sorry.
So, no, that's okay. So Mad Max has some great options. They're really easy. They're labeled, and, you know, their staff is really educated on their foods. Burgatory has an amazing veggie burger.
And where's Burgatory locally?
There's a new Burgatory up on 228.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Right across from the big Marriott.
Got it. Sounds good.
And because, again, my junk food is healthy food, they have non-dairy milkshakes. You guys. They're incredible.
For real.
Incredible.
I can't even.
I might think if they're open, maybe I'll swing by and get one.
I'm so seriously right now. You don't even know. Okay, here's another question. And I know we got away from some of the quick places to go, but I'm curious about healthy breakfast options. And I don't know, because I just, to me, cereal is like the worst thing in the world that you could have. Because and I'm not necessarily on the anti-dairy if it wasn't processed and all that, and because I'm not there yet where you are, but the actual cereal is so sugar and so carb heavy, and then on top of that you have milk that's been pasteurized and just demolished. So what have you found? What would you recommend to a family that's trying to cook a healthy, because it's such an important meal for the kids, and to be honest, I like the idea of some animal-based breakfast, but I'm curious what the plant-based breakfast would be to get your day started.
So breakfast is one of those things that I think is difficult, because the traditional breakfast foods,
it's so terrible,
are eggs and bacon, and those are not healthy. But eggs and bacon and, you know, sugary cereals, as you mentioned, poured on with milk, and, you know, everybody wants Pop-Tarts, like things that are grab and go. So in my day job, which I have, I'm out of the house before 8 o'clock. So I had to have something that was functional. So I started making overnight oatmeal. Oh, okay. The whole grains are awesome. Yeah. The nuts that I put in give me a great...
define overnight oatmeal as opposed to instant oatmeal.
Okay, so we use rolled oats.
Okay.
And if you want the actual ratios, we have them on our website, and I can send them to Ian, and he can link it in the description below.
Awesome.
But overnight oats, you use rolled oats.
Yep.
And we get organic.
Yep.
A non-dairy milk, whatever your preference. If you want to home make your milk, you can home make it in a high-speed blender. If you want to you could use a juice. If you want, you could really change it up, whatever you want. Yeah. And then we add nuts for that added protein kick in the morning. We're not worried about
protein. Protein from nuts.
Yep.
New to folks. Yeah, I knew it, but some people may not know this.
Yeah, so we're not really worried about our protein intake. We've done a lot of what I eat in a day videos and tracked our macros during that, and we're comfortable with the amount of protein that we get. So we follow like a pretty, laid back, these are the certain foods we want to get. We want to get our whole grains. We want to get our greens. We want to get our nuts and seeds.
That's great.
We want to get additional vegetables and fruit. So that's the other addition to the overnight oats is frozen fruit.
Got it.
So you throw everything into a container with a lid because you have to close it up the night before.
Okay.
Toss it in the fridge, and in the morning, everything's kind of melded together. The oats have broken down so that they're a little bit easier to digest.
Wow. So you don't even cook it.
Don't even cook it. I just eat it cold.
Wow. And there's something to be said about the raw food diet too. And we may not go deep into that level of plant-based eating, but I know that's generally a healthier option. So that's really fascinating that you're just letting it soak up the moisture in the fridge.
And if you use blueberries, it's purple. So if you have kids and they really like colored food,
I am doing
purple.
This.
And if you use strawberries or raspberries, it's pink. So
my kids, we do a lot of the strawberries and blueberries in the morning, usually with yogurts, but now we're gonna have to try this one out because it sounds easy too, because if you just pop it in at night and then it's there for you when you wake up, that's pretty fantastic.
Fantastic. And if you put it in I'm not a big proponent of plastic, but if you are traveling, have kids that are traveling, you could put it in like a thermos or something that they can take with them and they can eat it on the bus.
That's fantastic.
You had mentioned yogurt. There's also like coconut-based yogurts so you could do coconut-based yogurt, some granola, maybe some nuts and seeds on that to really give yourself you can almost even make do like yogurt, some fresh fruit, and then top it with granola in the morning. I'm all about the easy, fast, ready to go recipes.
Yeah.
The other thing that we really did a lot for breakfast was we invested in a Vitamix.
Nice, yeah.
High-speed blender. We used it every day for a very long time, and we would make smoothies.
Nice, yeah.
So we'd, fresh fruits.
Smoothies are nice. You can throw the kale in there, and you can throw the heavier stuff that maybe kids don't want to crunch on. Although our kids found we don't have it all the time, but when we get kale, it's almost like I like to call nature's version of certain substitutes, right? So kale, for those of you that haven't had it, it's like chips. It's like potato chips. I mean, they're crunchy and they're decently taste. The other day we had diced up cucumbers, and I was joking with the girls. I'm like, these are nature's crackers. Green beans are nature's French fries.
Love it.
It's a little bit delusional, but it works.
Hey, whatever gets people to eat more plants. That's right. What we're about.
So. I know we have limited time overall, and so I'm curious, just in a little bit of closing here, kind of like what drives you, what kind of resources you have for the community that you would encourage people to look into to get started. Like we've talked about some strategies that they can do. Obviously, veginspired.com, and you can follow Kathy on all the Veg Inspired social media platforms. But I know you had mentioned earlier in there some organizations around Cranberry that you're passionate about, or things that you appreciate that you'd want to give a plug for. And just what keeps you going and why you want to help more people do this.
So we really are passionate about eating more plants. I mean, we really have seen such a strong change in our health. I mean, we adopted this lifestyle because we know that, certain diseases, the standard American diseases, as we call them, run in our family. I mean, everything from cancers to heart disease to
stroke.
We all know those awful words that nobody wants to talk about. And through all of our research from people like, as I mentioned before, the Starch Solution and How Not to Die and nutritionfacts.org, we've just found so much to support the healthiness of a plant-based diet. So those are some national resources. Other things that I would recommend you check out: Forks Over Knives, if you're really interested in learning.
Of good things about it. I haven't watched it yet, but that's on my list.
The documentary What the Health, another one that's huge, just to really give you some more information and educated people make decisions. So if you look into these things, I feel like it provides you some information that you can make your own decision. And you know what, we are 100% plant-based. we do not eat any animal products. We've evolved to not utilize animal products or in entertainment or things that we wear or anything like that. But this isn't about perfection. It's about progress.
Yeah.
So, if you adopt a meatless Monday and you eat overnight oats for breakfast and quinoa salad for lunch and an amazing spaghetti with veggie balls for dinner, and your whole Monday is meatless, but everything else that you eat isn't, it's about progress. It's about just really embracing the power of plants. And then some local organizations that can, you can look into. There's veganpittsburgh.org. They work with local restaurants to be sure that there's always vegan labeled items on the menu.
Yeah.
So the restaurants are inducted in if they have a labeled vegan item. There's also Plant-Based Pittsburgh that is working as a resource to help people find plant-based options in Pittsburgh. I'll send those to you and you can link them in the comments
we'll put them
as
in
well.
The description there.
And I'm only an email away. You can find all my contact information if you have questions. If you have your favorite recipe that is a hand-me-down and you want some help adding more plants to it or changing things out, my husband and I are happy to help with that and really
fantastic.
Just make it easy for people to eat more plants. That's our objective with Veg Inspired.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I love it. I'm really glad we got to get together here. We are going to close it down. I didn't mention it before, but for those of you that are still with us, and I'll put this in the description here, Kathy has been gracious enough to donate a recipe book, an ebook, as well as Heather donating a $20 gift card to Generosa, and the only thing you have to do is follow the pages on Facebook and Instagram here, and tag someone in this video. Just tag somebody that you think really should watch this and learn about this stuff, the content that we're going over. One of the things I usually will tell people is to share the videos. You just never know who is in your circle of influence on your friends list that may gain immense value from this or have questions for Kathy or even Heather.
Right.
Any last words for the ACT community or for everyone else joining in and watching and hanging out?
Yeah, we're just really, really grateful that you asked us to do this and connected with us. I think it's awesome. I think the platform that you have is incredible to help connect community members. There are so many new companies that I didn't even know about through your platform, and I hope that I find some new people through this platform as well, that we can inspire you just to eat more plants, even if it's one day or one meal a week. Any little bit of embracing the plants is progress. So thank you all so much. I hope you come check us out, and
that's it.
Until next time, eat more plants.
Eat more plants. The power of plants, man. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.